Customer success function. What is the essence of this function? I have to start by saying that I've seen in different organizations, different way this function is implemented, as well as where it is within the organization. So what you see here is my view and my experience. So basically, customer success function is making sure a successful use of the product by the customer. And the first question that comes to mind, why do we care? So let's get back to the answer in a few minutes. But as a short background, there are basically two types of software license. The first one is perpetual. When we buy a perpetual license, we buy the rights to use the software forever. Obviously, we will be asked to pay some annual maintenance for some upgrade, bugs fixing, etc. But in general, we buy it, it's ours forever. In the recent years, we see the SaaS type solution, software as a service, or the subscription model becomes more popular. In this case, we purchase the right to use the software for a specific period of time, typically a month or a year. In some larger systems, larger software platforms, it will be more than that, 3 years, I even seen 5 years, but again, the norm is going to be 1 year. What this means is that as a user, as a customer, I purchased a subscription for a period of 1 year. At the end of the year, I have to make my mind again whether I'm going to purchase another period of subscription or not. From the vendor point of view, this is the point in time where he potentially may lose a customer. This is a critical time from both sides. If the vendor will wake up at the end of the year, just about me as a customer is required to pay again for another subscription period, that might be too late if, as a customer, I had some concern, complaints, etc. during that 1 year. This is exactly the role of the customer success function to ensure that I renew my subscription. So the way that I see this function, it should lead eventually to the customers to renew their license. Directly related to that, the customer success performance is overall measured according to the license renewal rate. Renewal rate sounds trivial. We have a separate session on how to calculate renewal rate. Let me just give you an example of a slight complexity or two different angles. Let's say we have 10 customers. 9 customers pay annual fee of $100. One customer has a different license and he pays $1,000 per year. Now, overall, we have revenue of $1,900, 9 times 100 plus $1,000, generated by 10 different licenses. If the 9 licenses of $100 renew at the end of the year for another period of a year, and the $1,000 license does not renew, in terms of number of license, we have 9 out of 10, 90% renewal rate, not bad. In terms of revenue, we have $900 compared to the original $1,900, which means we lost 53% of our revenue. That's not good. So let me share my basic assumption, and it is that there is a strong correlation between the usage level and the renewal rate. Meaning, the more the customer is using the software, it becomes more part of his overall operation. His dependency on the software increases, and therefore there is a higher chance he will renew the license. So customer success function is to closely monitor the usage and the quality of usage of the software and improve it. Now, level of usage, I mean how many transactions, how many operations the customer is performing with the software, and quality means how many functions does he utilize, meaning is he using the system in a heavily mode or just one function out of many. We obviously want him to do as many of both as possible. So far it's relatively simple. There are other issues we need to be aware of. Our product can function great. The customer may be very happy, and still we can see a drop in usage or low usage from start. And this can result from something which is not related to the product. I call them external reasons, but we have to be aware of those external reasons, meaning those are reasons that are not related to our product, but they have a direct impact on the product usage. And customer success function is to identify those external reasons and assist in resolving them or assisting the customer to resolve them in order to retain or bring the usage to a decent level. Understanding those external variables are important so that not only we have a clear understanding of our total ecosystem, but we sort of become a consultant to our customers how to address those issues so that eventually the customer returns or start using our product in a decent manner. Let me give you some examples, and those are real cases that we ran into. One of them is to do with the SaaS platform in a retail chain, and in retail chain, at least in some of them, employee churn is relatively high. So if, especially in small stores, there is one specific employee that used to operate our system, our software, and he left without performing a decent handover to his replacement, then suddenly we can see a stop. And with time, that can result basically in dropping the product. So what was the resolution? And by the way, I'm sure that many of you have ran into this type of scenario where the person that used to operate the software left and you had to sort out a solution. So we basically, in this case, deployed a system that continuously monitored the level of usage, and if the level of usage dropped below a certain level or dropped above several percentage, then that would raise a trigger and we would be able to analyze and alert the customer if needed. Another more complex scenario, again in a retail environment, compared to other software platforms that were utilized in that chain, and they were directly related to selling products, meaning that the store employees actually drove the usage because every time they made a sale, they got a commission, so they had a real nice incentive to use those platforms as more as possible. Our system function was totally different. Basically, when someone that purchased a product returned it to the shop, mentioning that there is a problem, the store employee had two options. One option is to put it in a basket, where at the end of the day, that product was sent to repair. The other option was to run it with our software. In 90% of the cases, we would analyze what is wrong with that product. And actually, in majority of cases, the software could even resolve the issue. And that means that the customer within 5 to 10 minutes could be walking out of the store, a happy customer, because he came back with something that doesn't work and returns home with something that works. I mean, he would be very happy. From the salesperson, his point of view was, hey, this doesn't help me in increasing my wages compared to other solutions. I'm going to stick with them. From his point of view, he was absolutely correct. So the way we address this situation is where we demonstrated to the store chains management the level of saving they could achieve with our platform, as well as increasing their profitability, increasing customer satisfaction, and so on. And within less than a year, we saw a dramatic change. Basically, new guidelines in the store defined that product cannot be sent to repair unless they went through our platform. So this is a good example where external reasons related to the way the store was compensating its employee had an impact on the usage of our platform and then how we resolve it. So I mentioned in the first case the fact that we implemented a platform, sort of a management customer success platform, and we defined obviously many parameters to this platform. I'll mention several which had a very positive impact. One is real-time tracking of usability. Usability means how many transactions the customer performs in a predefined period of time. And then we could compare it either to his history, we can compare it to a threshold that we set. Another alternative which we used is defining groups of customers which we expected each of the members within a specific group to have similar behavior, similar usage level. So if one of the members had differences of, say, more than 20%, that would immediately raise a flag. The other parameter which was very important for us is measuring the quality of use, meaning we would like to see that the customer is utilizing the system as much as possible. As many functions as possible are being used by him, and in case the number of functions that he's using are less than a threshold, again, that would raise a flag, and then we would implement different ways to increase his awareness of other functions and how they can assist him. Another function is alert initiation for internal use. If a customer ran a specific function and it did not complete, we definitely wanted to know when that occurred. That assists us a lot within QA to try and figure out if we had bugs or any type of malfunction, or been used by the product to see mainly to see if UI, UX, the usability is not good enough such that it's hard for the user to understand how to complete the function or even to start with it. So obviously there were many other capabilities of the platform, but the ones I mentioned I think are very important to note. Now I would mention that there are several types of platform. In our case, we sold to tier 1, tier 2 companies. We had few hundred, few thousand customers. Obviously, if you're addressing consumers, then you would need different type of a platform. So in summary, customer success function is to ensure the customer is successfully using the product to a level which is within boundaries that we predict should be. And this will increase the dependency between our solution and the customer business, which will drive the license renewal. Customer success function can be measured, should be measured by the level of subscription renewal rate. And the last item we touched on is we need to be aware that there are external reasons for either high usage or low usage of our product. We should be aware of that and assist our customers where needed to resolve the issue so that they increase the usage with our software. Since customer success function has such a broad view as well as deep understanding of the usage level, what is used, when and how, the amount of information that this function can bring back to the product team is significant. And that is another layer of contribution that this function brings into the organization. Good luck with this function.